What's going on, everybody? It is Wednesday, March the 23rd, and it's time for The Wire. We've got a whole episode dedicated to the crazy ass NFL offseason. Need I say any more? Nah, why not? The Wire starts right now.
I'm going in, it's first and 10. I'm a legend boy, a champion. They can't match the flows, the X's and O's. I'm breaking the code, devastation about to unfold. They calling me Derek by the way I roll. Bet you never ever seen a pro this cold. I float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. I mix with Iron Mike and the great Ali. I'ma run it back, believe me, baby. I fathered the game, call me Daddy Brady. I'm like that, try be like this. Sammy Sosa, that boy don't miss. It's the return of the greatest. Any way you name it, I'm everybody's favorite. I'm bringing the pain and bringing the fire. Hey, stay tuned, it's going down to the wire.
Fellas, good to see your smiling faces after a week off. How's everybody feeling refreshed? Feeling ready to go?
Yes, sir.
Exciting time.
Shaved my face and everything changed in the NFL.
Yeah.
Tom Brady came back.
What'd you do to us, Richie?
I don't know.
Richie's not in the ocean. I confirmed that off the air. That is just a fish tank. We are all good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's dive on in, guys. Lots of stuff going on in the NFL offseason. Our radio chat for the show has been blowing up for the past couple of weeks here with all the craziness. So I figured we would just bring some of that to you folks, our listeners. And guys, the first thing that I think we'll go ahead and cover is something we talked about, something that everybody on the show for the most part said, go ahead, enjoy your retirement. You've earned it. Tom Brady, TB12, is not retired. He is a NFL quarterback and will be playing for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers next year. So let's hop around and just get initial reactions. What you think his motivation is, what you think this means for the Bucs. Let's start with Richie over there, nice and clean shaven.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I'm all about Tom Brady playing as long as humanly possible. It's gonna be a weird day when he is officially done. I think Adam Schefter, blowing his retirement mulling open early, forced his hand to retire, and then but he wasn't sure. And I think 2 weeks later, he started looking at the NFL and he was like, "Wait a second, Davante Adams is a Raider. Matt Ryan is leaving the Falcons. There's nobody in the NFC South. Nobody left the NFC West and went to the AFC West. I can win a Super Bowl. Why on earth would I not do this?" I mean, that's if I'm Tom Brady, that's what I looked at, and that's why I feel like he was so confident to be like, "Let's go." And then 30 minutes before it broke news, he texted the boys, Mike Evans and Goodwin, and he was like, or Godwin. He was like, "Let's get it, boys," and they're pumped. So I mean, this is a team that went neck and neck with the Rams, that has less competition than last year. I don't see why they can't do it again. I don't see why Tom Brady can't get another Super Bowl, but we'll get to that later.
Man, I just saw Sahi's eyes light up just when you said that. Man, I think they can do it again. His eyes just. How you doing, Sahi? Are you celebrating? Did you have a day of celebration when Tom Brady announced that he was back?
No, I just kind of looked at the notification like, let's go. Because I knew he wasn't going to leave. I had that feeling that he wasn't going to leave us just like that after just 42 seconds away from another championship game. And then one guy, Richie, I think he left out was Sean Payton. He's not in New Orleans anymore. So
right?
what the hell are we doing? Let's bring it back. We don't need all the pieces. We just need some of them to come back, and it's gonna be easy. We're at least gonna get to the playoffs. So once you get there, you know what I'm saying? So it's just unfinished business, like he said.
All right. And Trey, what about you, man? I know you've got the no Tom Brady slander. Were you surprised to see that he's on his way back?
So first of all, there is a no Tom Brady slander clause in my life right now. So I don't want to say I feel like I've been hurt by him right now because he just came back. Then he goes to Tennessee and picks up who? Julio. He tries to pick up Julio Jones, then slid in Julio Jones DMs.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to bite my tongue, and he's great. I was surprised. And maybe I think I was more hopeful that he wouldn't come back. Maybe it was just me saying, hooray, I have the NFC. If we put some things together, we could do something. And then he came back and blew my wishes up. And he's a great quarterback. He's the greatest of all time. I have nothing else to say about it.
Actually, I do have one more thing to say about it real quick. The other thing, since we're conspiracy theorists here on this show, the other thing I was thinking about is he spent 6 weeks with this kid and he was like, forget this, man. I am done. I don't have time for this. How does she deal with this? Giselle's calling him. They have to go to like Sunday brunches and get mimosas. He's like, no. I have better things to do on Sunday. No way. No how.
Damn it, can't get Tom Brady's sports bar and grill open. The camp's taking another year. I'm just going to have to play football. I can't do.
Yeah, I can't do this anymore. He couldn't take it.
Right? He said it was going to be a real big change in his routine. And this is around the time where he gets to getting in gear and to not have to do that. He doesn't really know how to not to. So it's going to be a transition period for him. And he might do the Brett Favre thing where he's like sick of football. And then, you know what? I could give it one more go for like another 4 or 5 years.
Hey, he wants these. And, this is the year to do it.
He's got more than most franchises.
He does.
If he does it again, he will have more than every franchise. We'll get to that franchise in a minute because we didn't get what we wanted. But guys, there's a documentary, and I can't remember the name of the documentary. Forgive me, we're not stealing this willingly. If you can find it, please put it in the comments below. Where the wrestler Edge, before his return, I don't know if you follow wrestling, but he spoke about, and if you don't know, he broke his neck and had to leave wrestling and leave it all behind because of his medical injury. Wasn't his decision. It was just how it was. And he talked about how you go from thousands of people. For them, it's on, a much more frequent basis. They perform like 4 or 5 times a week. You go from thousands on thousands of people cheering your name, hyping you up, the love of the sport, the action of the sport, the training, the lifestyle itself, to just quiet nothing. Is there something to Tom Brady being afraid of that? Whoever wants it.
I think so. I mean, you hear him talk about it. They miss the maybe not the practices so much, but the camaraderie, the excitement of the game, the crowds. I think that it's a drug. People have called it such. So I think that there is a element of he's not ready to let that go.
Yeah, I echo what Trey's saying. I mean, to me, it's just like, you got to remember, he's been playing professional football longer than he's done anything else in his life, quite frankly. So his adult life has been professional football. So it's hard how do you transition when that's all you've done your whole life?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think he said it years ago. He's going to retire football when he sucks. All right. He led the NFL in touchdowns, yards last year. He doesn't suck at the game right now. So why quit? I think he retired just to be like, all right, I can retire if I want to. Nobody's going to say anything, but I don't have to retire right now because he simply doesn't. He's at the top of his game. So, and he's going to be at the top of his game for a while.
Very interesting. Well, I guess Tom Brady will be the one to teach us a lesson because Edge came back to wrestling when he could. So he missed it so much he had to have it again. All right, let's move on to a quarterback that I was hoping might come to Pittsburgh, but he did not. He did move his way up north into Cleveland. Deshaun Watson. And I have been reading a little bit today, guys, about how it is causing a bit of a stir. I had the numbers up earlier. I think it's 5 years, 90 million. Is that right? I think it's a 5-year contract, 90 million. He's set to make more than Patrick Mahomes. And
you mean 290?
290. Yeah, I'm missing it.
Yes, 230.
I was like, you missing some money.
Oh no, I think is it 90 a season? Is that what it is?
Here's 230. The first year is only $1 million because they think they're expecting him to have to serve some type of suspension. So they hooked him up like Tom Brady did. Like Tom Brady got hooked up when they restructured his deal after the Deflategate.
Okay, so I was Yahoo Sports.
Correct. Is set up that if he gets suspended in a different year, they will prorate and change his contract so he doesn't lose money. Oh, it doesn't matter what year he gets suspended.
So, and Patrick was on 250, is that right? Or is he over Patrick at 230?
Patrick's at 500.
That's right.
He's making more per year and it's all guaranteed. That's what makes his contract the biggest
Yahoo
contract in
Sports
NFL
got
history.
me again. All right.
Every single dollar.
All $30 of this is guaranteed, which is more insane than when Kirk Cousins got his contract, but he got like 7 years of guaranteed money. So,
I mean, Kirk's agent is the best because what an average quarterback to have the second highest like guaranteed money of all time in the NFL. That's insane.
Well, let's dive on in. Sahi, we've all talked about this man several times on the show. Kind of, we've never wanted to get into the allegations, and we're not going to today either. But the allegations clearly robbed him and us of seeing what I think has been called here on the wire a top 5 quarterback in action. Now he's making headlines, and he's right up north of you. What do you make of the whole thing?
If we talked about Deshaun Watson on this program before, you could run the tape. I've mentioned a trade to Cleveland. I have a friend that last year, before the season, I'm like, you guys need to trade for Deshaun Watson. He's going to take you guys to the promised land. He's like, no, we got our guy. Baker Mayfield is the one. And then all season long, I had to hear him in frustration about Baker Mayfield. But he's a diehard fan. He's low key taking up for his guy. Like, no, Baker just has to do this, just has to do that. He'll figure it out. And then when I seen that Deshaun Watson had decided to play for Cleveland, I immediately texted him like, didn't I tell you? You know what I'm saying? Just a year later. But it's just one of those things like, he's not going to play in Houston ever again, even before the whole allegation was determined to be no criminal charges, right? So he was never going to play for the Texans. He had to go somewhere. And the only team to me that made sense this whole time was the Browns. They got a great running game. No way he's going to Pittsburgh. But I'm just so glad. Like, I am so happy. I know Trey was probably thinking for a while, like, we're going to get Deshaun. Kyle Pitts posted on his Twitter, like, we going to get Deshaun. He had to delete it. Man, it felt so good to see Deshaun Watson going to the Cleveland Browns, something I called a year ago. And he's not going to be a nightmare in the division, especially if he went to, either of those teams, right? Because they got teams that are built to, if they had a quarterback, they could win now and compete. So I'm not surprised. I'm glad to see it. Hooray for Deshaun, man.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
It's just like your friends at Kiki while you down. Everyone knows that he was supposed to come to Atlanta. And Sahi, you just wanted to rub it in my face.
He's from Atlanta.
You just
boy in
rub
Atlanta.
it in my face that we could have had Deshaun Watson. Okay? Deshaun Watson. And then there you go, because you got Tom Brady and you feeling good about yourself. You want to go
No, you guys are building something special down there. Deshaun Watson would have came in and he would have been a distraction to those young guys. Y'all building something great for the future. Kyle Pitts down there.
Don't you try to feed me that ranch flavored bullcrap.
Baker Mayfield is no. You guys got Marcus Mariota.
They signed Marcus Mariota 2 years.
He's a baller. He learned behind Derek Carr.
Yeah, the process is in full effect in Atlanta. That's all we can say.
That's all I'm saying.
All right, Richie, you've definitely mentioned the sentiment, at least, that Deshaun wasn't gonna stay idle like that forever. Is this something that you could have predicted?
Here's what I'll say. Sahi did mention it a while ago. Cleveland was the one team that I didn't think had the shot, but was the best team of the people looking for him. Carolina, don't go there. Atlanta, I understood. Want to go, Arthur Blank, the relationship, being from Atlanta, honestly having Pitts, you have an opportunity. But I mean, come on, like we've talked about the AFC North, and I'm not going to get into Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's always going to be 8-1 or 9-8. They'll always at least win, but they're the least competitive team of the three. And you look at Baltimore, they got Lamar Jackson. That's not an option. Well, Cleveland has a running back tandem that's incredible, right? There are 2 games behind Cincinnati. It's not like they're even with their performances and Baker's terrible play. So, and this is a team that picked up Amari Cooper to try to give him a weapon since he's just lost OBJ and he, what's his face? I feel like a goofball because he's incredible. Jarvis Landry. But so you got Amari. So you gave him a weapon. You got the best running back tandem in the league, a consistent rushing team, great defense. I mean, this is one of those things where if Cincinnati, and we'll get to it, didn't pick up some free agents that they picked up, I would have been like, man, Cleveland's going to take this for sure. But I love the move. The only thing I will comment on is I refuse to say we stole a season from him because he put himself in that position. And what I will also say is Cleveland clearly has the smallest towels, and that's exactly why he picked Cleveland.
The smallest towels.
This will probably be an offensive line that Deshaun Watson will ever play with.
Yeah, I mean, to me, when he got picked up, I was like, there's 2 divisions, right, or conferences and divisions specifically that I think are killers. AFC West, we're going to get to that, and the AFC North. I mean, good grief, good luck to everyone in the AFC North. I mean, the winner's probably going to be like 9-8, honestly. There's a lot, we'll get to Pittsburgh as well, but, when Pittsburgh is arguably like literally your worst team, man, that's a tough division. It's a tough division. But, Cleveland, they sold the farm, 6 picks. You take that every day. I don't care about Baker Mayfield, this, that, and the other. When you have a top 3 quarterback, let alone top 5, you throw your plans away. You have a running back team like right now that is unstoppable. You have a fantastic defense. If you can get a top 3 quarterback, I'd trade 5 first-rounders if I could. Whatever it took, and Cleveland was willing to do it. They gave him an unprecedented, virtually guaranteed money contract. They did whatever they had to do for him to feel confident that he'll get paid well. And, it's a winning condition for him. And they got him. Atlanta is the one who dropped the bag here because then they pissed off Matt Ryan. Like, let's be honest. I'm not trying to kick a man while he's down, but that was the one team that couldn't let this happen. And they did, unfortunately. So congratulations to Cleveland. This is going to be a crazy season in the NFL.
Who's the coach up there? Is it Stefanski?
Stefanski.
Yep.
I think they were saying that maybe they'll open up the playbook, but they were hamstringing what's his name? Baker Mayfield. But I think that if he's going to have Deshaun Watson, he's going to have to open it up.
Yep, I agree. He's going to have to do a little more than play actions and whatnot all day.
Actually, no. They need to just keep it the way it is. It's the fancy coach of the year a couple years ago. You got Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt. You didn't get away. That's the core of your team right there.
He coach of the year because he did that well with Baker Mayfield. That's why he got coach of the year, man.
You gotta.
Now you got Deshaun Watson.
Baker Mayfield needs a spread offense. He can't really. I don't think Baker Mayfield really got a fair opportunity because he couldn't be him.
Yep.
especially if he's in a play action offense where he has to sit up under center. That's not what he really does. And Deshaun can do that. I think he'll be way better at it than Baker Mayfield, but Deshaun Watson is a gunslinger and he's accurate. He needs to open up the offense or they're going to be stuck where they're at.
No.
I mean, look what happens when they did it with the Rams. You have a gunslinger back there. He's going to make mistakes, guarantee it. But high risk, high reward. You got to let him throw the ball.
All I'll say is
Atlanta,
this.
yes, but in Cleveland, you got Nick Chubb.
Deshaun Watson threw 5,200 yards with nobodies. Like, let the man throw the ball.
He doesn't have to now.
Doesn't matter.
No,
I'm saying if Cleveland plays that way with Deshaun with that roster, let him throw it all over the field, they're going to lose every game.
I agree with you. Well, I don't know about that. I'll say this, Sahi. The Cincinnati Bengals have the number 2 rushing yards as like individual with Joe Mixon. Joe Burrow still threw 4,600 yards, man. Deshaun Watson is a better quarterback than Joe Burrow as of now. I don't think anyone would argue that. So that's my point. The model of success is similar. Deshaun is better than Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow had success being a gunslinger and them still rushing the ball 20 times a game. Like, I think you throw it. I'm with Trey.
The Browns need to run it 40, 50 times a game. That's the difference in those two teams.
Nick Chubb don't run a lot, though, man. They have him run 12 carries a game. That's it.
He doesn't need to.
Well, yeah, because he's so efficient. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But listen, be efficient in the run game. But the reason that when they have Deshaun Watson back there, that's going to open the field up. There's going to be more running lanes for the running backs. They're going to have better yards. That's how I'm seeing it.
Kareem Hunt's numbers will go down. Joe Chubb will stay the same because he's like historically the most efficient running back of all time. He's averaging 5.4. He's averaging more yards per carry in his career right now than Jim Brown. Just to throw that number out there. So Kareem will go down, and we know for a fact Chubb is that dude. Chubb is going to stay the same. They're going to be absolute running machine. I agree with Sahi, but I think you open up the playbook to Trey's point. You got a generational quarterback.
Put some sets in there where Kareem Hunt's out there in the slot and Nick Chubb's in the backfield. You do some things.
It's true.
They only got a
play action rollout, bootlegs.
You could put us four out there as their backups, and he's still going to get close to 5,000 yards.
We won't make it. We won't make it to week 17.
Can I start? Where I'm supposed to catch it? Can I be offsides? Maybe
games before I'm done.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull a Jerome Bettis when he finally broke the line. He ran like 5 yards. It's like, bro, I've got asthma. All right. So, yeah, you're watching and listening to The Wire. We're going to get into more of the transactions that are going on in the NFL, and it's shaping up to be one hell of a season. Maybe up there in Cleveland, we'll see that play from the longest yard. You never know. Folks, let us know what you think about what we've talked about so far, all these crazy transactions, Tom Brady coming back, Deshaun Watson going to Cleveland, and any other crazy transactions that are just blowing your mind in the comments below. Thank you for checking out the H2G Radio Network. Please continue to support all the shows here. We got this. We've got the acting podcast. We have Free Mess on Fridays coming out very soon. We've got the title is official. It's True Crime for the Innocent Mind coming out soon. There's 4 episodes already recorded of that, and they're going to be coming real soon. And another show that's going to be recorded in LA, kind of a variety-ish show. So we've definitely had those on the network before. Whew, that's the mouthful of plugs. We'll be right back. You're listening to and watching The Wire.
Mitch Trubisky.
Mitch Trubisky.
You know, theater, film, acting, it's very collaborative. So these people that you're showing up with, be respectful, be collaborative, be open. You know, of course there are sabotages, I guess, but like at the end of the day, if you and your partner go in there for a read, you both want to look good. You know, you want to make the other person look good because they're going to make you look good.
Absolutely. And it's always important, I think, to support also. If it's in an environment, probably specifically speaking to like community theater, maybe college,
sure,
where there's applause after each read,
Sure.
Be a part of that. And when they go on a break, make sure it's important to network with the other actors, with the other, because the more you network, the more people get to see you and your abilities, the more of a product you are for future endeavors, Welcome back to the Wire Sports Podcast here on the H2G Radio Network. Thank you for checking out that little clip from Andrew and Justin's Actors Breakdown. If you know anybody that's trying to get into the game, you're trying to get back into the game yourself, you just want to hear two idiots talk about their passion, check out Andrew and Justin's Actors Breakdown. We kind of just go through the beginning steps and what you can work on and places that you can go and get started in acting, because it is more available now than it ever has been. But let's get back to sports. We were talking a little bit about Cleveland, and now that Deshaun Watson is there, Baker Mayfield's got to go somewhere. So guys, we talked a little bit about this off the air, but I mean, what are his options? What to do with Baker Mayfield, whoever wants it?
Well, it's not what is his options, it's what are the Cleveland Browns options. And right now they're screwed. They cannot cut him because then they will not have enough cap for Deshaun Watson. So they have to trade him. Now, every team in the NFL knows that now. Now, what Adam Schefter is reporting is that there's two teams that are talking to Cleveland, and they want Cleveland to give a pick in addition to trading Baker Mayfield. So that's where we're at. There's two teams I think realistically, Sahi and I talked about it already. I think Seattle is a big possibility. I don't think people have the Drew Lock. We can say the Drew Lock slander, quite frankly. I don't think Trey's gonna be upset with that. Drew Lock is not, like DK Metcalf was already like, yo, chill guys, like give him a chance. But Seattle's like, to me, the number one spot. And the other 1B to the 1A is Carolina. Everybody who was in the Deshaun Watson sweepstakes, except for Atlanta, because they picked up Mariota, pretty much needs to go for this, because Carolina does not want Sam Darnold as their quarterback. They're very adamant that they need to move on. So I think Carolina is another good choice. And outside of that, who can afford an $18 million backup? What purpose would that serve? So they're running out of places. And, Jimmy Garoppolo is his competition. And ironically, San Francisco might not be able to ditch him. I hate to deviate this, but John Lynch was trying to say that somebody was offering San Francisco 2 second-round picks for him. Like, please, buddy. I don't think anybody believes that, because you would have traded him as soon as that happened.
Right.
So I think Jimmy G is staying in San Francisco, and I think at this point it's going to be between Seattle and Carolina, because there's not any other starting spots, and nobody's paying a backup quarterback $18 million unless you're Sean Payton, who retired. So that's out of the equation. So we know for a fact Baker pretty much needs to go to those 2 locations, and now it's a matter of pinching Cleveland and squeezing. But the problem is they just traded 6 picks, so that they're really running out of capital. But they're going to have to find a way to make it work, because as we discussed, if you have to trade your general manager, Kareem Hunt, your wife, whatever it takes to get Deshaun at this point, you have to stick to it. You can't back off of this at this point. You got to make it happen. So I think Seattle and Carolina are the 2 options. He can't be cut. So
I think Urban Meyer is dumb enough to pay a backup quarterback or a tight end way too much money. Anyway.
No, he's not, because he didn't even give him 1 game. He didn't even give him that game. It was the most disrespectful thing I've ever seen. Make him change his position. Then 2 weeks before the regular season, say, sorry, buddy. See ya.
You're not cutting it.
So
you can't cut it out here, Tim.
He's such an asshole.
We'll go to Sahi just because it brings me back to while Urban Meyer was finger banging. We're talking about Baker Mayfield, man. What do you think Cleveland should do with him?
Man, it's tough, right? Nobody typically really wants Baker Mayfield. I mean, I guess there's teams out there that do, that would need a quarterback, not necessarily, we want Baker Mayfield. There's teams out there like, we need a quarterback in here. Seattle like Richie said, I just agree with everything Richie said. I wasn't where they couldn't cut him, because I feel like that would be the best option for Baker, would be to cut him and let him sign with any team that he chooses. Maybe he could be like a Jameis Winston situation, sign somewhere for $1 million and just sit behind an established quarterback for a year. So it's going to be tough. I'd like to see him in, if any team. It was before it was the Colts, right? Before they signed.
Yeah, before they picked up
Matthew Ryan. I thought Baker Mayfield was going to go to the Colts for sure. But that's out of the question. Maybe, well, if the Houston Texans wanted him, they would have got him in.
They would have traded.
Yep. Right? Yeah. That could have been a possible. That kind of makes sense to me. Baker Mayfield's from that area. So it's just one of those things. We'll just have to wait and see. It's going to be very entertaining to see where he goes. Like,
and how many picks they have to give up to give him away. I never thought we'd be talking about giving away Baker Mayfield, because he's not the best, but that's surprising.
This just crossed my mind. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they got Tom Brady out there. We can trade the second round pick we got last year, Kyle Trask, somewhere, and get Baker Mayfield, sit him in there behind, because we're going to need a quarterback after Tom Brady leaves. But that's just one team I threw out there just as a, maybe.
Something different. Yeah, I got you.
Right.
I don't know if Baker Mayfield's going to be worth a damn in 25 years when Tom Brady leaves. Trey,
I hope he plays another 25.
Trey, that wasn't slander, Trey. That was just a joke. What do you think Cleveland should do?
I'm not exactly sure I know they have to get rid of Baker Mayfield. You can't have him in the locker room, especially after all that what the two have said to each other, honestly. So I think I heard something about a coworker mentioned at Pittsburgh, and that was a very interesting idea for me. I was thinking also maybe sit to the Saints. I feel like he would fit down with the Saints, but I want people to understand Baker is not a top 5 quarterback, but he's not trash either. So it's very hard to, because I feel like people assume that when you talk about trading and what you get from everybody deserves top value. Baker is not top value at the quarterback position. He's very good value, but you need to temper their expectations. So they're not about to go get, no one's about to just hand over picks to them. So they need to figure out what they need and try to moneyball it with that situation, with the value they have with Baker Mayfield. I think Pittsburgh can do something. Atlanta definitely needs to do something. There's plenty of teams out there without quarterbacks.
Pittsburgh did. Well, that's mine.
It's on the future.
Yeah. Well, they signed Mitchell Trubisky, but they also gave Dwayne Haskins a year contract, I believe.
They did.
So
they re-signed Dwayne.
So Baker would be third. No, I'm just kidding. So what I want to do now is before we kind of get into the list, which we're running out of show here anyway. So if anything, we'll get to Pittsburgh. And with all the crazy transactions, they're going on all over the league. I asked the guys pre-show, because like I said, our chat's been blowing up, to just kind of prepare which transaction has struck them as crazy, and then we can dive into that. So let's go ahead and start with Richie.
Oh man, that's not fair.
Okay,
we're going to talk about. There's two different things here that I didn't realize. One, I thought we were going to talk about free agency, and then one being like the trades. So I'm going to start with the trades. We'll go to free agency after.
We can do both. Yeah.
I think they're different. So to me, the thing that was the craziest trade, it's not Russell Wilson. It was Devontae Adams. Like, Oakland is going in. And honestly, I love to see it.
Vegas.
Oh, sorry, Vegas. I apologize, Trey. It's still hard for me to accept that. It's so hard for me to accept. Vegas Raiders are, you know what? It's a new leaf, and they're going for it, man. You know what? Russ thought he was going to get away from Chandler. Chandler's like, nope, I'll sign with Oakland. We got Devontae Adams, you know. And I say we, you know, I'm obviously not like a huge fan, but it's great to see Vegas really stepping it up, because the AFC West with Denver now getting Russ Wilson. And to me, though, the Devontae Adams one is the one that caught me off guard. I didn't expect that. I did not expect that. And, you know, for a team that, you know, pushed Cincinnati to the limit without that type of a talent, insane. And then, you know, Chandler Jones, how do I want to say this? I'm not thrilled by it, but it's still cool to see him with Crosby, because it's just that he's a great early season guy who gets like 5 sacks in the first game every single season, and then he starts to dip. But, you know, now you have a tandem of defensive ends. You have a fantastic, the best wide receiver in football. You know, that's the thing we've always been talking about with Derek Carr, is he needed a weapon. Well, that's the weapon. I mean, that's the weapon.
Mind you, they played college together at Fresno.
And they did play, precisely. They played together. Derek had always been talking about it. Hell, Devontae already bought a house next door. They're neighbors now. So to me, that was the biggest trade. And again, Russell Wilson's a big trade, don't get me wrong. But I think that's the biggest trade that I didn't see coming. With Denver and Russell Wilson, obviously that's a recipe for success. But, you know, not Oakland. Vegas was saying, we're not just going to give up to Denver and the Chargers. No. We're going to pick up the best wide receiver in football. We have a top 10 quarterback. We were this close to beating the Bengals, and who knows, maybe we beat the other guys. So now you got Kansas City, you got Vegas, you got the Chargers, and you got the Broncos. That's another insanely disgusting and challenging thing to deal with for all of them. So I'm really excited about Vegas. I thought them picking up Devontae and some of their free agent signings have been fantastic. But to me, that was the trade that I wasn't ready for, that I think is going to shake the league a lot more than people realize. Because Devontae's 30. He's still got 6 years in him. So
let's see. Who next? Who wants to go next? Just your most exciting trade. Then we'll get into free agency.
I'll go next. Oh, I can't really break it down by trade or free agency. I don't know what, but the Khalil Mack going to the Chargers was, I thought, something that really shook up the AFC West, especially for the Chargers, because I now think that they are going to go really deep in the playoffs. Sunshine, I call him Sunshine. What's his name? The quarterback.
No, Sunshine.
Justin Herbert.
Herbert. Justin Herbert.
Sunshine. Herbert. Justin Herbert is ridiculous. I think he's ridiculous. I think he's well above his years, and he seems to do it with ease. Now they added another pass rush in Khalil Mack to hold the defense down. I think that they're going to create a lot of noise this year. So that was my first one.
All right, Sahi, what about you, man? What trade blew your mind?
Yeah, I wanted to say that Khalil Mack trade was the one, and then I remembered the one I'm about to say. But just on Richie's point with Devontae Adams going to the Raiders, he said like they're going to make more noise than I got to thinking of Josh Jacobs and then Darren Waller, the best tight end in football right now. They are going to be amazing on offense. But my trade that made me go, what in the world? Like, this is crazy good. This is under the radar, like crazy good. The New England Patriots traded their best offensive player last year for a 5th round pick to my Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Shaq Mason. All right. He's a dominant guard. And he's coming down to Tampa to play with Tom Brady. That trade right there is just like, what? Like a 5th round pick for Shaq Mason? Like that's wild. That just blew me away. I couldn't believe it. That was something I was not expecting, because we lost Alex Kappa, our young guard, to the Cincinnati Bengals. So that trade was just phenomenal. 2 thumbs up for Jason White. Like, wow.
But y'all lost Alex Cappa to the Cincinnati Bengals?
Yes.
Yeah, he wanted
one.
too much money.
Well, they needed an offensive lineman, and they got one, and that's going to be crazy because to have just Joe Burrow back there with offensive line talent, that's going to be a whole different level. You see what he did getting beat up. Imagine if he doesn't get beat up.
They were like, we got to stop him from getting beat up. Nobody wants a Ben Roethlisberger out there crimpling around. Yeah, I'm just throwing shade at Ben. So now let's move on to free agency. Richie, what about free agency, man?
I mean, the boys led right into what I was going to talk about. I'm being a homer here, but for Cincinnati, this was their biggest free agency they could have went for. They got Ted Karras. Obviously, they got Alex Cappa. So they got a new center, new guard. They got La'el Collins. They won the lottery. They got a right tackle now. So all they got to do is draft a left tackle, which, sounds so easy on paper. But the point is, it's a center, fantastic guard. Honestly, getting Cappa, I was shocked. I was so happy because our guards are the weakest spot. People think it's our guard. They're getting Kappa, and then La'el Collins is a steal too. It's a 3-year deal, technically really a 2-year deal, but we got him for $10 million a year. I was like, are you kidding me? Starting right tackle, 2 sacks last year for $10 million a year. I couldn't believe it.
Hey, they keep Joe Burrow on his feet. He's going to be able to pick defenses apart, just like Tom Brady.
Yeah, so for me, just overall, I think Cincinnati, addressed the biggest weakness, of course, that they have. So for free agency, I'm going to have to me, it's the Kappa one first, because that led to, La'el Collins going, all right, we got some boys over here. I'm going to go in. And that's what Collins said he called Joe Burrow and he said, your bodyguard's got your back. Nobody's getting near you, once he signed about 4 hours ago. So for me as a homer, that's what I'm excited about with free agency is the Cincinnati Bengals addressed the one thing when we watched the Super Bowl that made us just go. So I'm very happy as a Bengals fan in free agency.
Heck yeah. Trey, what about you, man? What was the biggest free agency move?
Okay, my initial one was going to be Von Miller going to
Buffalo.
The Buffalo Bills. I thought that was insane. I did not expect Von to actually go to Buffalo. Von does not like cold weather like that. When he came from Denver, I thought that was going to be. I thought that's why. And I expected him to go to Dallas, but the Von Miller trade to Buffalo, when he had the opportunity to come to Dallas, was big for me. But when I found out about that Alex Cappa thing and offensive line, that's insane. Joe Burrow might win MVP next year.
Also, honestly. By the way, I gotta tell you boys something here. Stephon Gilmore, the Raiders and the Bengals are pursuing him very hard. At the moment, Vegas is considered the favorite. And that would be insane for either team to get him.
I'm going to get some tickets.
You better get them now. No, they'll give them away in one of the casinos or something. Saeed, man, what about free agency? What struck you as crazy?
I was going to say the Cincinnati Bengals offensive line because that's exactly what they needed, right? But here's another free agent signing that's just going to do wonders for this team. And we already talked about him in the trades, the Raiders, and we just mentioned them again, getting a top flight DB. They signed Chandler Jones down there. Chandler Jones was a guy who had 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 sacks in a game last year. How many? I think he broke the record last year for most sacks.
He had 5. He's had 5 sacks last year, but he's had 5 sacks in 6 different games.
Yeah,
he's an animal.
Yeah, he's an animal. You pair him up with what's my guy, Max Crosby.
Max Crosby,
nice big deal down there. They're doing things on the defensive side and the offensive side. Just speaks to show that division is so loaded right now. And you add a pass. Those quarterbacks are great. but they are going to be scrambling and running for their lives down there. It's going to be so exciting to watch.
I think they should. I do feel like while we're still on the Raiders, I do feel like they should have kept the coach on instead of going out and getting your boy from New England.
Oh yeah, Rick Bisaccia.
Yeah, I think they should have kept Bisaccia, especially with the turmoil that we had going on last year. I mean, Vegas needed their own TV show for real. We had the coach saying wild stuff. We had players going on Instagram Live with rifles. We had may they rest in peace. We had someone drinking and driving. I mean, it was a rough year last year, and he held it together. Derek Carr should have won MVP, but yeah, it's going to be a crazy year.
I mean, I don't disagree, Trey, but I'll say this. Josh McDaniels has had many years to get prepared again. And when we just discussed about how potent their offense could be, who better than the architect of the New England Patriots offense with Tom Brady, quite frankly? So I'm looking forward to seeing it, but I agree with you just from the perspective of all the insane things with like Ruggs and all of that, to be able to keep that team afloat and again, be this close
successful
to moving it on in the playoffs. Yeah,
successful. Sure. I feel for what they had to go through last year, I think they were very successful. Derek Carr is a grown man. He's an adult. He handled all of those situations with class. I don't think you could have. He should write a textbook on how to handle situations as an NFL quarterback, or how to be the head of a franchise. And not Stefanski. What's his name? I don't want to call him Stefanski.
For who?
For the Raiders, the special teams coach held it together.
Bisaccia.
They were successful. Bisaccia held it together, rallied the guys around each other, and they made some noise.
Well, I had to pull up a couple of pages to say this one because this one shocked me, and I wanted to get you guys' opinion on it. And he's not the most used weapon on the Kansas City offense, but Byron Pringle is now going to be an option for Justin Fields in Chicago. Any weight to that for you guys? No. So
to me, switching it like Juju Smith-Schuster.
That's where I was going.
Big pickup for Kansas City.
Yeah,
and they needed that, and they're going to need more than that, quite frankly.
Yeah, that's where I was going.
Allen Robinson, so that's not a. They didn't gain anything.
Yeah, exactly. They lost Allen Robinson, who went to LA, and that's incredible for LA.
Yeah. Well,
Byron Pringle's a guy, though.
He's a guy.
When he's the fourth option, that's easy for you to be a guy when you're the fourth option. You're not going to be covered.
How many touchdowns did he have? 2, 3, 4, 5. He did some good things last year. I think he's going to do great, especially being able to step up. He's a young guy, too. He's only been in the league 3 years. Oh, yeah. I think this is going to be a great signing for Justin Fields. He's a fast guy out there. He's going to be able to stretch the field. Yeah, never mind.
What did you read? Hold on. What put the brakes on?
I mean, just his average per reception wasn't that high.
Oh, I
was just going to brag on him if it was like 17 or 18 or something. Like, this is a big play guy, but he's fighting for catches with Kelsey and you got Hardman and you got Tyreek Hill. Sometimes a guy just has to go somewhere and blossom.
Yeah.
That could happen.
Time.
That could happen.
So
I'm just saying they gave up Allen Robinson and they picked up Byron Pringle. That's okay. You lost Allen Robinson still.
So I brought that up to bring up the elephant in the room. Pittsburgh, they needed a quarterback. We've been talking about it. I've been openly campaigning for any quarterback, whether they be Division II or one college football or we have Mitch Trubisky now in the spot with Dwayne Haskins on a 1-year contract behind him, and I think Mason Rudolph. Yeah. So that's the quarterback situation. Juju, as Richie just alluded to, will be playing in Kansas City. There's still some time left, and then we've got the draft. What can Pittsburgh do? I mean, what do they need to do to find some success this year? Just humor me, because I got the jersey.
Okay, let's see here. First thing, they have to commit to Mitch Trubisky over the others.
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer between the three of them, he's by far their best option. Mike Tomlin had said he wanted, a more athletic, mobile quarterback. Well, Mitch Trubisky is certainly mobile. I wouldn't call him a pocket presence, but he's a mobile quarterback who's going to give, what's your boy? Your jersey. I feel like a dummy right now.
Chase Claypool.
Thank you. Sorry, my brain was farting. Chase will have an opportunity to feast with Mitch because, Claypool is not a crisp route runner. He's not a lot of things, but he is absolutely a stallion. And if you do, broken plays, that's an opportunity for Claypool to shine. Deontay Johnson is going to be Trubisky's little, safety glove, safety net, whatever you want to call it. And so, I think that was the best option they were going to get. As I already said, there's no way they're in the running for Deshaun. They weren't going to get him. It is what it is. So I think for now, that's your best option on your offense. So you got to focus on your defense. Losing Juju is not that big of a deal. And I say that with conviction. Don't get me wrong. Kansas City is going to get better. It's great for Kansas City. But if you're Pittsburgh, Juju just never really, he's a tough player. He's a very tough player, but he did not replace Antonio like everyone is hoping. He was successful with Antonio, but he never became that wide receiver one that we all saw the talent that he has. And I don't think he certainly will in Kansas City, but nonetheless, the point being is Deontay ended up being that guy. And so you got Deontay as your possession guy, and now you got Claypool as kind of your, how do I want to say this? Your hopeful superstar. It's still too early. I think he's way too cocky for how not talented he is yet. He's athletic, but he's not there. So to me, you got to focus on your defense. When I think of Pittsburgh, I think of defense. And don't get me wrong, you got J.J. Watt, reigning defensive player of the year. But if I'm Pittsburgh, that's how I improve. I don't worry about Mitch Trubisky. I focus on the defense. I got to get back to Pittsburgh defense because I'm going to be running into Deshaun Watson, Lamar Jackson, and Joe Burrow. I am not going to outgun them, so I need to focus on slowing them down and running the football. If that's Pittsburgh, that's what I'm doing. I'm drafting defense this year. All defense.
Hey, there's like 350-pound guys running 4.6s or some shit. Sahi, you are a part-time Steelers fan. What do you think the best move is before we roll out of here?
Man, it is tough. They have no receivers. I know we mentioned Deontay Johnson, who Chase Claypool is a big dummy. You all remember him celebrating that first down with 2 seconds left to go in the game. Like, what are you doing? Get back on the line. They don't have any receivers. So I feel bad for Mitch Trubisky. And with signing Dwayne Haskins, he doesn't even have a solid starting job. There's going to be a competition in there. They're going to draft a rookie quarterback. Maybe it might not be the first 3 rounds, but they're going to have a guy coming in there who's going to compete for that starting job as well. I think if they want to have Mitch Trubisky have the most success, you need to draft a first-round receiver. You need to get Chris Olave. You need to get the other guy out of Ohio State. You need to get one of these receivers that's big prime time receivers. Like, forget whatever else you need. Like the Bengals last year, they need an offensive line bad. Joe Burrow's coming off an ankle ACL, and they're like, you know what? We're going to get this receiver because he's like the best receiver that we can get at this time. And it worked out for them. They went to the Super Bowl. So maybe it could work for the Steelers and Mitch Trubisky if he ends up being the starter. But they need receiver help bad. Losing Juju Smith was big time. Losing who else did they lose? They lost another guy out there. I can't think of the name right now. James Washington. He was a big receiver for the Steelers the last few years. So losing those 2 guys, they're going to need help.
Absolutely. Trey, what about you, man?
I'm not gonna bash on Mr. Trubisky. I mean, he did win in Chicago at one point. I feel like the best thing that they could do for him is, like they said, like my predecessor said, focus on the defense, focus on the run game, do the play action thing, just don't make mistakes. They do have receivers. Chase Claypool is a knucklehead, but he's a talent. Johnson is a talent. They could pick up a receiver, a tight end in the draft. They could pick up another running back, and they could be textbook, old-fashioned play action football and be successful, especially with the defense that they have. So I think that they just don't need to outdo themselves. I think they just need to kiss it. Keep it simple, stupid. Like.
Oh, there you have it. Well, folks, we ran out of time, but there's way more than that. We didn't even get to talk. I know, wanted to bring up Godwin got his franchise tag, right? And so much more. Just let us know.
He got his bag.
Oh, yeah.
20 mil.
20 mil. I'll take it. I'll take a mil. I'll take half a mil. I'll take $20. Anyways, let us know what stood out to you with all these transactions going on. We've got the review in the comment sections. Thanks for checking us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and where all the audio podcasts are found. We have a Patreon link in our link tree. I know it still says H2G Podcast. We're working on switching it over, but it's H2G Radio. And we're doing some big things, and we're only able to do it because we want to do this for you guys, and we love the support. We love you watching. If you want to give, we will give back. We've got loads and loads of behind the scenes content for you, and it's hilarious. There's been a lot of funny things that happen before we actually start recording, and if you want to check some of that out, all you got to donate $1 a month, get you access to all the behind the scenes. We'll give you early access to the shows that have not come out yet. So the Free Mess on Fridays is on its way. The True Crime Show is on its way. Guys, got any last words for the week?
I can't wait to see the rest of the week, man. We got more football. It ain't over.
Yeah, I can't even find an NBA story.
Man,
I mean, there's nothing to talk about right now.
March Madness has been crazy. I think all of my brackets are busted. Carolina's still going strong though, so I'm good with that.
And Michigan's still in there. We already talked about it. I want to see Juwan Howard choke somebody. We still got time.
You still got time.
Michigan State gave me a little hope the other night, and they just crushed it. I was like, man, maybe I'm gonna be a fan again. No.
Man, I didn't make
Izzo gave you an Izzo, right? Man, that's what he does. We talked about it. He always makes it look like he's gonna come in there, and then at the last second, he's just gonna let you down.
Yep, happens every time.
Reminds me of my childhood. No, I'm just. All right, we need to close this shit out. Thanks for watching and listening to the Wire Sports Podcast here on H2G Radio Network. Hey, stay classy. We'll see you next week.
Hey.